Hi mate, so this is where your mistake is, I believe. Now, as you can see, I have selected the Ranger T-1 model, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into my model settings, then into the inputs, and I'll just give you a brief example, and I hope that you can spot the difference. So let's just take as an example the arm and disarm switch, yeah? So when I flick my switch, you can see that the selection moves, yeah? So it's, the box is moving. The same will go into when I go to my stabilization modes, right? So I've got horizon mode, I've got acro mode, and manual mode, right? This would be no stabilization, acro stabilization, and self-leveling horizon mode. Now, as you can see on the side, you have this little, what looks like an on-off button, and then SG with the arrow up. Or the same goes for the arm switch. But because obviously SF has only an up and down position, or on and off position, it only has two positions because it's just a two-position switch. So anyway, this, if we edit this, you can see the switch, and there it is, SF, right? So that switch is not the source. The source is something different. The switch is what activates the mode. The source is what changes the variable, okay? Now we can have the source be the same as the switch, which it is in this case, but in your case it's going to be a bit different. So in my case, I've already got my throttle set up to a maximum of 70, and I've got SB in this case as my free switch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say copy, and I'm just gonna paste after. Yeah. Now you can see I've got two throttles. I'll take the main throttle. Yeah. So this is the top one. I know that you might not be able to see the selection, but I'll take the top one. I'll edit that one, and I'll just set these to the default value. Okay. So I'll put this at 100, and I'll put the offset to 0, like that. But now I want that to be activated on a switch. The switch I'm going to use for this is going to be SB. So I want 100% throttle when SB is in the up position. So not in the down, in the up position. I select it by moving the switch and then pressing the OK. And that has selected SB as the up mode. Yeah? Now, my source is still the throttle, yeah? The source is essentially the input for X, which gives you an output of Y, yeah? Because this graph is an XY graph, and all it is just moving along that graph. Now, what we want to do is we want an option where we select a second graph that we have modified the weight and the offset of to be selected in our 4S configuration, yeah? Because I'm assuming the reason why you want to do this is because you're flying both on 3S and on 4S. And on 3S, you want to have 100% throttle, which is this case right now that you can see. And then you want a 4S where you flick a switch and you swap your battery, and it's a 4S battery, and, Bob's your uncle. So now that's what we're going to do. If we go back, you can see now I've got SB as activating SB with the up position, as activating my 100% throttle maximum. And if I take this and edit the second option, now if I put the SB switch in the mid position, now it has selected the second curve. And now you can see that it is changing. So as I'm flicking the switch, it is changing the graph, and you can also see the weight being 70 and minus 30 as it should be. But the graph is now changing because the graph is now actually telling you what option you have selected. I think this is a bit of a bug within Edge TX. Maybe it's going to get fixed. I think the graph should represent the option that you're currently editing and not the option that is currently selected. So, you do need to add that switch. And if we go back, you can see now as I'm flicking the switch back and forth, it's switching between 100% and 70%. Yeah? So I'm going to remove this now. because I only fly on 4S, so I don't really need this. But feel free to give it a try and let me know how it goes. I think this should resolve your problem. Thanks.